think of this experience where an incident commander was like, well, you're always talking about data. What is data to me? So there was kind of a snarky comment, but I ended up answering it legitimately. And so I'm going to ask you the same question for those emergency managers on here who have no college degree, or even if they have a college degree and they're just like data science, like that's that nerdy stuff. I don't want to deal with that, right? What would be your answer? What is data to an emergency manager?
Data is taking this and turning it into this.
So and big to small for those who don't see. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Now that we're on video.
Yeah. It's hard to.
So last time we talked, I used the example of triage, where triage is data management. You're taking a bunch of different medical indicators and turning it into one data point, for the sake of argument, red, green, yellow. And so that's how you have to think about it, right? Is it's taking the complexity and it's breaking it down into something that is easier to visualize and look at. So you don't have to think about you don't have to think about an algorithm to use an algorithm, right? That is an algorithm. That is something that's gonna, where you're processing data through and coming up with a number that doesn't look like, but it's something that we're familiar with already. I think that's step one. And then step two is it's something that helps you make decisions faster. That if you know,
bingo.
If you have somebody on your team that can build good visualizations, and then B, you know how to interpret those visualizations, it takes things that you would have to have 5 meetings with experts to figure out and distills it down into something that you can just look at and go, okay, I got it. I see what's going on.
Perfect. My answer to him, for the sake of argument, was he said, what is data to me? I said, data is situational awareness. And I've had this like long-standing internal fight of GIS shouldn't be in planning, it should be in operations and in a response team, because you're really helping out more operations a lot more. But I've also had this internal fight of like GIS should be within situational awareness. Situational awareness should be over GIS because it is data. You think of like a really great functioning GIS or a situational awareness team, they're pulling in information from all over the place, disseminating that out in clear, understandable information to others. That is data management. Whether they're pulling in news information, social media, traffic, or actual data through SQL queries or whatever, all that's being pulled into information to be able to help you make decisions faster, as you just called out. So great answer there. Absolutely. So in terms of situational awareness and triage and be able to process large amounts of information very quickly, which is, I think that was the analogy there, pulling it in. Let's talk about like some scenarios. And we're going to spitball this real quick. We didn't prepare this at all, but I'm going to give like 4 or 5 different incidents. Okay. And we're just going to say the type of, maybe the culture that happened beforehand. Maybe we won't even address that, but we'll talk about how you could do training to affect change using data. Okay. So essentially let's talk about, and this is all going to be coming from the perspective of someone without response experience. So they don't have a response experience in a large-scale disaster, and then they're presented with a large-scale disaster. Talk to us about some of these changes, okay? Now, if we fail miserably at this, remember, everybody, we're spitballing this. So,
yeah, last time you sent me this stuff ahead of time. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, crack the knuckles, stretch. Here we go.